Hello, Sports Mockery fans. My name is Aldo Soto, and I'm back with some Cubs-related news. And holy shit, Jared Porter is a creep. Before we get to these details and the creepy-ass shit that he did while he was the pro scouting director for the Cubs back in 2016, make sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of our breaking news coverage, rumor talk, and some gambling content. Visit the website sportsmockery.com and I don't know, check out the William Hill Sportsbook in Illinois and see if they're going to have a wager and to see if the Mets are going to fire Jared Porter after this scandal. I don't know, use that $300 risk-free bet that you can get if you use the promo code Mockery300. You can get that by clicking on the link in the description. Make your first deposit, and your very first bet with William Hill Sportsbook in Illinois is risk-free up to $300. You know, check it out. Maybe they do, because this is pretty disgusting and creepy. So let's get to it. According to ESPN's Mina Kimes and Jeff Passan, current Mets GM Jared Porter, back in 2016 when he was the pro scouting director for the Cubs, was just harassing a female reporter, a female foreign reporter, and at one point sent her 62 unanswered text messages, which included a dick pic. A few other pictures, some selfies, other pictures of, you know, his bulge, I guess, laying down in bed, some creepy ass shit. But again, repeating 62 unanswered text messages at one point. And I mean, you just gotta read the story. This is, again, the best word for this is just creepy. In the story, the Cubs did give a statement to ESPN. They said, "This story came to our attention tonight, and we were not aware of the incident ever being reported to the organization. Had we been notified, we would have taken swift action, as the alleged behavior is in violation of our code of conduct," the team said. "While these two individuals are no longer with the organization, we take issues of sexual harassment seriously and plan to investigate the matter." And obviously, the one of those two employees is obviously Jared Porter, and the other one was an employee that her bosses, you know, kind of connected her with the team that was from her country, you know, try to, you know, get some sort of, you know, communication there. Because, you know, in the story it's added, obviously she's coming from another country, first time in the United States. The story starts off with like how they met. I think it was somewhere in New York. Then he was texting her, he's like, "Hey, let's meet up." He sent her a selfie at one point. He's like, "You like this?" or something. You know, and the story says that the reporter, you know, felt a little awkward, but, you know, just responded, you know, like, yes. But she really didn't know the context of, you know, where Jared Porter was heading there. You know, eventually, after all the, again, 62 unanswered text messages, and then, you know, gradually building to that dick pic that he sent, you know, she finally did show it to a player and someone else, and they crafted a text message, because again, you know, English was her second language, didn't really get the context of, you know, some of the pictures that he was sending at first, until, you know, she finally was like, "Yo, this guy's getting a little creepy here." You know, finally told him, "Like, can you stop? This is getting inappropriate." You know, Porter did stop after that, did apologize, but again, 62 unanswered text messages. Come on, dude. For anyone, guy, girl, like, you can kind of get the hint after like 4, 5, 6, 7 unanswered. 62? This was, by the way, over a month. Like, he was just going repeatedly, almost for like 4 straight weeks here. And again, we're talking about, I mean, this is basically a stranger to Jared Porter, and in the story it says that, you know, he said that he was contacted by ESPN as they were gonna set to release the story on Monday, and he said that you know, the dick pic that was allegedly sent, that, you know, it was just a joke stock image that he had on his phone. But okay, sure, buddy. But again, pretty creepy stuff. You can see in some of these text messages, you know, he sends a selfie of himself And he's like, "You're so pretty. Do you have a boyfriend yet?" It's just a picture of him. It's like, "Do you want more?" Just about here we go. We have a little transcript here. His first unanswered text on July 19th said he was not married. He followed up, "Which picture do you like the most? Want to see more? Question mark? Question mark." About 5 hours later, "Hello, beautiful." About 90 minutes after that, "Is it too much for you?" About 2 hours later, "Where did you go?" And then almost 3 hours later at 2:03 in the morning, "I'm bored." Again, we have some screenshots here from the ESPN story. Again, that first picture just looks like he's just laying in bed and just taking a picture of his bulge there to send to this female reporter. Just middle of the afternoon here, in the middle of July. A couple sad faces. "Why won't you answer me, beautiful?" Ugh. Again, the Mets also released a statement that they're going to investigate further. That's pretty brutal stuff. I mean, there's no other way to... This is just creepy. And again, it's pretty weird that the whole Cubs comment thing, because, you know, Jared Porter seemed to be a candidate for the Cubs GM spot this offseason, which again, the Cubs still haven't hired a GM, but he was one of the names that was talked about early on in the process. And at one point, he was even like considered the favorite. I don't think the Cubs like ever even interviewed him though, so I don't really know that connection. Like, who knows who else knew in their organization that this was going to eventually come up, but maybe that's a reason that he wasn't hired. We know that at least one other Cubs employee knew about it, and that was whoever this reporter's bosses kind of like got in contact with, so she can talk to someone from the team at that point. But, you know, well, apparently, according to the story, you know, that employee is not with the Cubs anymore. But yikes, this is brutal look for Jared Porter. And again, eventually he did apologize, but like, dude, like 62 unanswered text messages. And, you know, you can call it white knighting, whatever you want, but like, let's face it, this is the kind of shit that women have to deal with, and it's fucking awful. And you have to feel like terrible for her too, because, you know, she's starting off her journalism career. You know, she's from a different country, comes over, doesn't really know anyone, and then you got this fucking creep just like sending her dick pics. Like, what is this? She doesn't know who to talk to. She doesn't know who to trust. You know, again, like, what if she gets blacklisted? She gets rats out, not even writing out. She calls him out, calls him to the team. Maybe she gets blacklisted or whoever. Like, let's not think that sort of stuff doesn't happen. It does. But yikes. Again, this did happen in 2016, and, you know, she waited so long to come out because she was scared of any, hurting her journalism career. And, you know, by now, she's out. She returned to where she's from. According to the story, she works in finance now. She's not in journalism anymore. But, just another story out there. Just how shitty it is for women in the sports industry and this kind of shit that they deal with. I mean, I'm laughing out of just like, it's just creepy. This 62 unanswered text message. Jared Porter, what the hell are you doing? Yikes. The Cubs, Kevin Fiddler, who's on the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast with me and Matt Zawoski for Sports Mockery, he tweeted out, like, imagine at one point the Cubs had, Aroldis Chapman, Addison Russell, and Jared Porter. It's like, yeah, great culture you guys are setting there. And again, who knows all the people who did know that this was going on. And Jared Porter, since then, he was the pro scouting director, and then he moved up to assistant GM with the Diamondbacks, and then he moved up to a pretty prominent position with the Mets as the GM. Who knows if he's going to keep that job after this story, but yikes. So yeah, if you want to check out the entire story, the link's going to be in the description for the Mini Kimes and Jeff Passan story on ESPN. Jared Porter, yikes.